Hey, everybody. Another book I've been reading lately is by John Pavlovitz. I think I've mentioned it here before, but I'll lift it up again. It's called A Bigger Table, Building Messy, Authentic, and Hopeful Spiritual Community. I'm not going to talk so much about the book as I am the title, because I love this, that we set out to build something messy. An awful lot of us were brought up in families where we were encouraged to not be messy. Some of us were brought up in an environment where we were encouraged to be messy because messiness equated with creativity, spontaneity. Which were you? Were you brought up in kind of a button-down home where everything was straight and narrow, or were you brought up with kind of a high messiness quotient? Well, no matter where you are on that continuum, no matter where you were brought up, I'm here today to encourage you to have messy times. You can bracket them off if it makes your, if you get the heebie-jeebies just thinking about being too messy. Give yourself a block of time. Say, for the next hour, I'm not going to worry about messiness. Because that's where we can be the most creative. And when we are creative, that's where God can lead us and guide us and give us an inspiration and give us a vision and give us something. And you can say, well, I'm not a very creative person. Well, it starts by being a little messy and being okay with it being messy. And it might be that a relationship is getting messy. It's just, it's hard to manage. I have to invest time and energy. Good. Invest it. Get a little messy. Jesus was messy. Oh my gosh, he upended everything. I'm not just talking about turning the tables, upending the tables in the temple. I'm also talking about relationships. The last shall be first, the first shall be last. That's pretty messy. Love your enemies. That's really messy. I don't want to love my enemies. I want to hate my enemies. They're my enemies. What does it mean, love my enemies? Faith is messy. It's going to make us uncomfortable. It's going to take our well-ordered world and it's going to say, I got to try this new thing. Are you kidding me? It's okay to whine with God sometimes. God loves us anyway and kind of knows that, there she goes. We just got to let it go. It'll run its course and then she'll come around. I think that's kind of how I'm viewed sometimes in the great beyond. Yeah, well, why not? Mess things up a little bit. Speak the truth even when nobody else will. Stand up against racism and homophobia. Not by being quiet, but by standing up, and it will get messy. And some people won't like you. I was talking the other day with a woman who's a certified lay preacher, certified pastor, we call them now. They've gone through a lot of names, but I think every denomination probably has them. In our case, they go through, I think it's a 2-year study program here at the presbytery level. Or maybe it started out as 2 and now it's 3. See, shame on me that I don't know these things because they're my colleagues and I really appreciate them and they're wonderful pastoral leaders of congregations. And where was I going with this? Oh, one of them was telling me that when we started this, she was part of the first class that went through and I think they finished in 2003. So we're talking almost 20 years. And when she went through this, that there were colleagues of mine who were not kind, said unkind things about their ministry, about their calling, as if they would do that without being called. I mean, really? I think it came out of maybe some of the ordained ministers' insecurities, or, I'm going to leave it at insecurities, that they felt threatened by this in some way. Kind of crazy. But it was messy for her. And yet she knew that she was meant to do this, and it felt right. And she had gifts to give. Thank God for calling her. And the difference is that as an ordained minister, of course, I have more rights and privileges. And my ordination is recognized across the denomination, where her being a CP, it's recognized, her credentials are good only in this presbytery in this region. And she's given that licensure for one particular congregation. At any rate, she dared to believe that God was calling her, and it was messy for her life. It upended things, and certainly messy for the system to change like that, which thank God we did. And the gifts that her congregations have had over the last almost 20 years, immeasurable. God gets messy sometimes. I don't think God thinks it's messy. I think that we're the ones trying to make sense out of things, and so we lock things into some format or some matrix or some structure that God never intended. And then if things don't fit into that because they're God-inspired, we call them messy. Good. Get messy. That's the message for today. Figure out where in your life maybe you're being a little too structured or a little too right-angled. And go ahead. Co-create with God and get messy. Thanks for joining me for this messy time out of your day to think of something greater than yourself. And I'll see you next time. Until then, God bless and take care. And bye for now. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. Have a great day.